Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello, happy Saturday. How's it going? You made it, Shem. What time zone are you in? You're in the States, right? Yeah, it's funny. I wanted to join Frugalissima's live stream yesterday because I think it was her first one. She's doing a question and answer with the Yorkshire Sewing Girl. And I really wanted to come and say hi and show my support. By the way, they right when they started, they already had over 90 live viewers. I've never hit that number. So that's awesome. And I totally forgot. Like, I had to set a reminder, I knew, for that because they're in Great Britain. And I had to do the, conversion. And I did it, and I forgot to set the reminder. Hey, Darwin, how's it going? So today I'm sewing part 2, but there's a lot to sew today because I don't usually cut and sew on the same day, so we didn't get that far. And I was also like kind of not hemming and hawing, but whatever. Definitely was taking my time with it. But I did fix that little spot at the neck where the stitching was touching the label. I decided that I didn't want that. So I just unpicked the stitches like from here to here and then made sure I was on the collar. That was it. You're in Central. Okay, yeah. Not too different. Like what is it like? Oh, it's already 1 there. So there's a chance if you tuned in at, well, if you tuned in 11 your time, yeah, you'd be early. I was thinking, oh, if you tune in 11 anyway, you might just be like catching it late. But see, this is my stellar time conversion skills here at work. So all we did, but it was enough. Placket collars, shoulders, darts on the bodice. And so we have the sleeve ruffles. I'm not sure how you're supposed to finish the armholes. I looked, and I think maybe I'll bind it. I didn't actually cut binding. Just realizing that now. But we'll see. We'll see how it looks because I can't tell if the ruffle goes all the way around the entire armhole. And if it does, you could overlock it, but you'd see that in there. You'd have to like push it towards the bodice and top stitch it. Binding, same thing. I don't know. I will look at it. Maybe I'll look at the instructions again. Hey, Vestigia. How's it going? So, but there is quite a bit. So I have the sleeve ruffle, side seams of the bodice, finishing the armhole, however I plan to do that. And then I have the whole skirt, which has a lot going on in it. It has pockets, a draw cord that is integrated into the waist seam, and a hem ruffle as well. So let's get cracking. So I have my home machine here because I'm going to do the buttonholes right off the bat so I can get rid of the machine. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know when you're kind of trying to keep track of other time zones, it really does it kind of makes you feel a little like untethered. I'm trying to change something in my schedule, not like work stuff, but like my personal schedule. And it's so hard. Like I can tell my whole schedule is tied to certain things, routines that I do. And I'm trying to change it. And I'm not even trying to change it that much, but it's already been so hard. Like today I was almost going to be an hour late because I was confusing myself, you know. You're watching group gymnastics, Sydney? I hope you have headphones in. It was really cute watching the live stream, Frugalissima and the Yorkshire Sewing Girl. And they were like, oh my gosh, they just said they have us on their 55-inch TV. And I was like, oh yeah, welcome to that. That was really funny. Okay, so here's my home machine. Let's see if I can get the camera way down here. I always have to do kind of some funky gymnastics here. Speaking of gymnastics. There we go. I can get rid of the little 5 out of 4 link if we need for now too. It's always good, exactly. And one thing can really throw it off. You'd never be that person, Sydney. All right, so if you have a Bernina and you're doing buttonholes, there's a little arm on your bobbin case there. And you're going to put your thread through there. Whoops. It makes a huge difference on the buttonholes. It like huge. That's all you do. You don't do anything else. You just thread it through there. I have a little blade here that I can just cut it and then shut the door. It's one of the features of it. All right, so I'm gonna put it on my buttonhole, but I actually kind of want my little piece of fabric is on the ground. I'm just gonna sew a little bit. Ooh, that's not my foot. I don't in general have to sew a few stitches when I change my bobbin. Oh, look at my machine's threaded incorrectly. I can see it. Let's just make sure. It's so easy to thread this machine, you know? These are the best kinds of buttonholes to do because they don't go to a button. Oh yeah, that made me feel pretty sleepy too, Carrie. Hey Nancy. Hey Mullen, how's it going? And welcome, Carrie. Hopefully you have the capability today to do that. Like it's in the schedule, you know? Speaking of schedules. It's the worst when you do something like that and like you just can't take the time. My neighbor here was planning on doing he was working all day, helping with some costumes at a Christmas play, getting the booster. Then the next day they had like, I don't know, it was like a soccer tournament and then the play. And I was like, yeah, that's a really bad idea. I was like, you never know how you're going to... He was like, huh, but I really want to get it. And I was like, yeah, well, he held off. Okay, so I have my little buttonholes marked, and I just used some washable ink. And I did iron a little piece of interfacing back here. That could have set the ink. Not too worried about it since we're doing a buttonhole over it, and you know it's going to be all scrunched and the draw cord's going to go over it. I just wanted it to be visible for you and me. So, oh, that's smart, Carrie. The one thing I just wanted to make sure just now was that it's going to be the same on. So I'm just going to make sure that the start and stop. Yeah, that's better. Is the same on either side. So the buttonhole on this is 3/8 of an inch long, and it's 3/4 of an inch apart, and this is the center line of the skirt. And this right here is about, honestly, it's like So close up there. Huh. How am I gonna get a casing out of that? I remember I added, oh, I think you do this on the bodice. I'll have to look at that sewing instruction. All right, I'm just gonna trust the process. You know? Hey, Terry, how's it going? Oh my gosh, really, Nancy? I got the flu shot, didn't feel it, didn't feel anything afterward either. All right, so it's a little hard. The camera's like right in front of my face. Probably can see that though. Can you see that? No, not really. So I'm just centering my little foot here. Oh, there's like no room either. Put my hand. Start. There we go. To the other one. I really can't see very well. Oops. Come on. That's not where I want it. There we go. That looked a little longer, didn't it? Maybe not. 3/8 of an inch looks so short until you're like hyper focused on it and you're like, oh, it looks a little long. Ooh, those look okay. My machine doesn't do the best, so. Oops, that's not the blade. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Irene. Well, you know what the best part about these, Irene, is that it's just a draw cord, not a button. So it kind of takes the pressure off of them being, you know, the exact same size. I mean, you want them to be the exact same size, right? Or that it's going to fit the button, you know? So I just followed the instructions. It said a 3/8 inch buttonhole, so that's what I did. And then I just put it on there. And then I have a buttonhole cutter. I don't use it very often. I'm definitely not going to use it for this one because it's too small. The buttonhole cutter is wider than this. Now I know someone's going to say to use like, what's that stuff? A fray check right here, but I don't do that. And what I do is I bend my buttonhole here and I get rid of these threads. I just take them out. That stuff's, it's already frayed. You can't check that stuff, right? So I get rid of it. And then theoretically, if I've gotten rid of all that, there's like hardly any stitches across right here. Look at that. If you get rid of all these threads now, there's nothing left to fray. So I just get rid of it. Kind of like when I pull out the threads at the ends of belt loops and stuff. There we go. But there's only like 2 stitches going across right there. So I'm gonna put a couple more. And I'm gonna try and, I really can't see. Let's see, is that a little bit more? And then 0 stitch length. Let's see. Let's put that a little bit. Let's put it right there. Let's see. There we go. It's a little wonky. Best thing to do would be to pull these threads to the back and hand tie them. All right, now we're ready. Ah, okay. I haven't either, Shem. It makes a bigger, mess. I thought it was like it dried invisible though. Okay, I tie my cords to my camera thing there. That way they're just there. Let me move my machine. Let me steal the thread off of it though. Put it somewhere where I won't trip. Since I've got my I've never fallen on camera streak going. It's a good streak. Okay. Let me turn my machine back on here and then we'll get to sewing. I'm going to finish the bodice first so that it's completely done. And then we'll tackle the whole skirt and we'll attach the two. I thought fray check was permanent though. What do you watch on a delay? All right. I have my bobbin in, right? I don't know why I'm a little paranoid about that lately. Okay. Oh, I had two knots in my thread because I had threaded my machine and then I realized, oh, I need to wind a bobbin. And so then I tied it off for that, rethreaded the machine, then I realized, oh, I need to do buttonholes. That little knot just doesn't go through the needle though. Beautiful. All right. Let's get this out, and that looks like the sleeve ruffle. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Pockets, sleeve ruffle. What is that right there? More ruffle, hem ruffle. All right, that's acceptable. Draw cord, skirt. All right. Hey, Winifred. Oh, Winifred. Bad Winifred. Hi, Beverly. How's it going? How much larger than your wrist? I always think they're too big, too. Bye. I'm trying to think what... I used to know that number off the top of my head. But I think right now I'm confusing it with a wrist. I think it's 9 inches. I'm not sure what that is in centimeters. Sorry, Mullen. Yeah. I personally find that they're just never quite right. I don't know what it is about the Archer, but I have to drastically change those. Bad troll. So what I would do is maybe put the cuff around your wrist, and I think you should be able to pinch your finger and your thumb. And then that's comfortable because you want it to be able to slip over the bone here and up. You know, you kind of want it to be able to move around with you, right? So that's what I would look at, or maybe, you know, that's what I would do. I would just kind of pinch it around your wrist and see. And if the sleeve is too big, if it's not that much bigger, you could just pleat those pleats a little bit more. Use a bigger seam allowance on your cuffs, that kind of thing. All right, so I'm gonna hem this first. And so this is the, I notched the edge that goes to the armhole, but if you didn't do that, It's the straight edge goes to the armhole, so the curved edge here, which is kind of hard to see, but see it curves up. This is the edge I'm going to hem. And I'm going to try and do a really tiny hem. So if you have a little hemming foot, I laugh because it's not my strong suit, right? But with the linen, I feel like linen is pretty easy to kind of make it do what you want. It has its, you know, other things that we don't like about it, but for something like a hem, you can kind of bend and stretch and shape it. As long as it's not fraying, and because this little edge is slightly on a curve, it's not going to be fraying, thank goodness, because if it were probably straight cut, it would be fraying a tiny bit. But I think a little tiny ruffle will help it ruffle more. One cheating thing you could do that might be really cute is if you have a serger and the, it's called narrow hem on a serger, right? Where it's just a really dense serger stitch with, and it's very narrow. It's narrower than this hem. And then it's a really dense serger. I call it marrow edging, and I know that's not what the home sewing world calls it. That could be cute. You could do a little contrast thread. You see that a lot on kids' clothes, especially on the edges of cross grain stretch, because then it makes a lettuce frilly edge. Oh. 10.5. That seems really big. Well, is that including the overlap of the button and buttonhole? I don't have any specialty feet. I would like some just because, but you know, if it wasn't for the live stream, I probably wouldn't bother. Unless I was just kind of like wanting to explore and try things. But in general, I will forget I have those types of things. But yeah, like Terry, I think Nancy, someone else. Maybe it's Adina, who we haven't seen in a bit. They love the feet. And they're honestly part of the reason why I've been inspired to try getting them. Like I got the buttonhole foot for this machine. It didn't work on my machine because it has electronics. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but I wanted to see. You know, sometimes I just have to understand why, you know. All right, and so now I'm going to just trim off this little edge here. I'm also going to redo my back stitch because I don't want it to start coming off. Ooh, it's so small. There we go. Just trim this one. Something like that. We'll get rid of that little wing. All right, let's do this one. Right, Irene? I'm really glad you guys can see my stuff up close. I just saw something the other day that I made a long time ago, and there's a seam coming undone in the neck and the collar. And I'm like, what? Let's put the back stitch onto the sleeve this time so I don't have to trim it off. Yeah, so that's going to go in the naughty / fix it pile. You know, the other issue I've been having every once in a while is the Charlie Kaftan. If you've ever made the Charlie Kaftan, one of the views has ties coming out of that center front waist panel. And depending on what fabric you're making it in, I don't recommend putting them on because they keep pulling out of mine, and I have definitely secured them. There's just something about how it goes in the laundry. Maybe it's my washing machine. But the last time it happened, it ripped them both out of that panel. Like I'm going to have to do a full-on major repair on it. It's bad. So the first couple times it happened, I repaired the ties, stuck them back in the end, you know, anchored them down even better. Probably more stitches was not going to help, you know, because sometimes more stitches makes it more perforated. But I think this time what happened is the tie got stuck maybe in the like door somehow. Like maybe as it was going around, it finally like the end just kind of slipped into a spot and got stuck there. And it ripped right off the dress. It's on my dress form right now because I'm thinking like, maybe I'll make it a little bigger because that's how bad it is. It's a full-on hole with ripping and shredding right there at the front inset. So I think what I'll do is get rid of it. And because I want a little bit of shaping, I'll probably add one to the back like I did on that one Charlie caftan where I added the inset to the front and the back. So it's really weird. That dress, I love the way that dress feels like when I'm wearing it. It looks pretty bad on my dress form though. So, I don't know. All right, so I let that little tail unhemmed right there so I could just trim it. Oh yeah, the circle skirts for a hemming option. Ooh, do they work in those? Oh, the band roll, Barbara? Band roll, Shem. Have you seen that? Just search for band roll hem on YouTube. And if you get the, what is her name? Downtown Tailor? Downtown Tailoring? What's her name? Her YouTube channel? She has serious sewing eye candy videos. Yeah, the band roll. All right. It's like a tearaway tape. They sell it on Waywack. I finally got my Waywack catalog. You guys all been bragging about your Waywack catalog. I was like, oh, I guess I didn't get one of those. All right, so let's put some gathering stitches in here. Change my stitch length a little bit. What's rattling? You know what? I took the vibration pads out from underneath my machine. Is it vibrating more, less, or the same? It's vibrating more, isn't it? My drawer is rattling, which is really annoying. Yeah, I think you would really enjoy her videos, Shem. She isn't your type of sewing, like the kind of sewing you do, because she's doing alterations. So that's a whole like specific skill set because you're basically doing maintenance and damage control, right? And fixing things or, you know, altering them from a finished state, going backwards. She's not doing couture techniques or stuff like that. She probably knows how, though. Imogene. Bad Imogene. Right, Nancy. Okay. I can barely see. I have this one. Where's this one at? Right here? There we go. Yeah, I would like to just work there. I want to go on the record. There, I think she's downtown LA. Have any of you been to downtown LA and like walked around? It's such an interesting area. My school was down there. The one I went to, fashion school, was in downtown in the garment district. And I used to go to a textile show there for when I worked for a couple of companies, and then when I was freelance, I would still go to the textile show because it was like a great place to go and you know, maybe potentially find some sources for some of my clients, because that's what I would do. Is sometimes people just hired me just to source something, like a fabric or something. I had a friend once that was like, I want to come with you. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I can't wait. Really want to go down and shop downtown, the garment district. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Let's talk about this, because shopping in the garment district does not sound, it sounds like something completely different. You like it, Hannah? Like, oh my gosh. It's like you'll go down like this one whole block and it's all like zoot suits, you know? Like really fun, like fluorescent pink suits with big shoulders, you know, like something you'd see out of the Lindy Hop days, you know. And then there's like different areas. It's like little, you know, why is this taking so long? It's not like a mall, you know. Oh, on different accounts. And you have to walk kind of far, and it's not like there's like cool food hanging out, you know, there. So yeah, like you can go and get like dead stock and designer fabric and stuff like that there, but you got to work for it. She wanted to get stuff because she was at the time buying stuff for a secondhand store, and they also sold new stuff as well. So like she did find like some cool like sunglasses to get or something. Yeah, exactly, Hannah. Yeah. So she did find some good, you know, sunglasses that she can't get just anywhere, and they sold well. But I tried to warn her, and she was like, all right, you warned me. I was like, yeah, it's definitely a cool experience. Yeah, you know, that's true, Hannah. The last time I went there, I was shocked that there was like a walk-up cafe. Oh, really, Michelle? Oh. It was rather seedy. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Yeah, when I went to my school, before it was built, I was there the first year of the current building. And it's a beautiful building. It even has like a grassy area behind it, because it's probably like some sort of ordinance in LA now. I actually do not know, like, does this go to the, I really need to look at the instructions. I didn't put these, I'm going to make this stitch a little longer. But they would use the front of the building in movies and TV shows constantly. It was such a pain in the butt because they'd be like filming right in front of your school when you're like trying to walk in and stuff, because the front of the school has this sculpture of an angel, like, and it's like the size of a human being. So you can walk right up to it. And so it's like right there on the sidewalk as you're walking by the building. You've probably seen it in some shows. And then it's just all in white, and it's like kind of walking out of the building on the sidewalk. And so you'll see it in like, sometimes I'll see it in shows. I'm like, that's my old school. And they were probably just desperate for new places to film, new locations. There's also more living down there now, and I think that's really been such a good thing. I don't like it when those types of places become deserts of people, you know? There's a lot of transients, and I don't think moving away from them is a good solution. I think we should all live together. Okay. Man, I forgot. Like the gathering of the hem ruffles. Yeah, Hollywood is kind of a dump. They all are. I mean, even parts of Beverly Hills. I used to have to shop there a lot and I hated it. Not because of that, but because it's Beverly Hills. Yeah. Oh, really, Barbara? That's funny. Yeah, there's like jewelry districts. Yeah, it's like not all just clothes. Yeah, that, you know what, Hannah? Thank you. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I feel like if you're a Californian, it's very nostalgic and it's well loved. It's vintage. There's a lot of history there, you know, and it is what it is. It's not like, yeah, polished with a lot of, like, you know, grassy, beautiful parks and wide open spaces. We used to go to the Griffith Park Observatory a lot. Someone told me that they were changing the Hollywood sign to say Ram's House or something. I was like, what? That's not even LA. It's well loved and it shows. Yeah, exactly. I had a friend that used to live in West Hollywood. She lived all over West Hollywood. I used to hang out with her a lot. And so there's so much good food there, and we would hang out there a lot. I've even driven Sunset all the way to the beach from there, just because I wanted the experience of it. It's such a, like, old movie thing to do. It was a lot of stoplights. I don't recommend it. But it was fun. I loved it. Oh, Joshua Tree. That is remote. Oh, it was just an overlay. That's what I was wondering. Are they just going to... I still think, I'm like, it's not LA. It was hard to redesign. Oh my gosh. That's funny. That backfired. When I was really little, my uncle bought a brick in the zoo. What zoo is that by the Griffith Park Observatory? Is that the LA Zoo? They were fundraising for the koala bear cage. And so people were buying bricks for it, and then their names were on it. And by the time I could finally see that brick, and I saw it, I was just like, it was horrifying. A cage was just like so terrible. At the time, they thought that that was so awesome, but now we know, like, that what a terrible space for a koala bear, you know? But it told a good story, right? Oh, Emmy, my family calls me Emmy. We bought you a brick for the koala bear cage and showed me a picture, and I actually did see it. LA Zoo. It's closed down thing. It's not closed. Hannah knows everything. She's like, none of this is closed. Michelle's all, it's all closed. I love it. Yeah, I know the Rams are back in LA, but that's not Hollywood. I've ridden on my bike all through those hills there. It was grueling. Okay, let me look at the, I don't think I have the instructions for this, so let me just look at the pictures. And that looks like it goes to the underarm seam. I think I have the, oh no I don't. Well, let's check them out really quick. Nope, yep. You need to get out more, Michelle. Okay, where is that? Sophie. Nope. I'm starting to have so many patterns in this. I had to start organizing my projects like alphabet, like A through B, and I have C and then D through something. I'm gonna have to do that with the patterns too. I refer to these too much. Here, I can show you on my screen. I didn't check the microphone, so hopefully that works. Oh, you can't see me. Oh, I'm not going to change my camera, though. Let's see here. There's a lot of pages. Yep, all the way. They have a lot more seam allowance there than I do. See, so it doesn't say how to finish the armhole. Just serger. It doesn't say if you did not add sleeve ruffles, you can do it with a binding. If you already sleeve, you're already ready for a collar. Yeah, I think that's just probably oversight. I've never heard of that, Carrie. Oh, you live by Griffin downtown? That's awesome, Hannah. Are you going to host us all there, you know, someday? Take us on a fashion district tour. That'd be really fun. I'd be totally down for that. All right, well, I guess you could put this, if you put this all the way to the edge, let's see how it looks. Sometimes what happens is when you include something like this in the seam, you know. All right, I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm not gonna overthink this one. Yeah, Griffith is beautiful. I loved it when Raj was there at, he was like doing the telescope talks on Big Bang Theory. I love all the references because they're in Pasadena, and that's where my parents grew up, is in Pasadena. My mom and my real father. So I've been to Pasadena a lot too. Okay, cool, Anna. That'll be fun. We need like a what to expect. Did I do a center notch? But you know what? Let's see what the center of this really is, because it's probably not the shoulder seam. I'm going to try not to pull on this at all. Yeah, so it's about right there. It's about a ½ inch past the shoulder seam. Going to do a little notch right there. ½ inch past the shoulder seam towards the back. So that's where I'm going to line up the center of my sleeve ruffle, and thankfully I did a triangle because finding that little nip would be really hard. Here it is right here. So we'll put that right there. You can update your knowledge of OLA. Maybe you should leave the tour. They had a Project Runway one season at my school. I think they still did Shop at Mood. All right, let's put a few pins in here. So how would you guys finish this? I know how I would if I were employed somewhere. But today I'm trying to think, is this enough? It's probably enough. Okay. Here, we'll just get rid of, I've gathered this way too much. Note to you guys. I really put those gathers really close to the edge, which kind of makes them a little squirrely. But I left the original seam allowance here, which was only 3/8. So I didn't have much room like to make the gathers a little further away. So it's like really close to the edge there. Vestigian wants to be Tim Gunn. I think you just go in, Terry, with a project in mind. Like, I'm going to look for a project. Like, I want to do this one dress or jacket. And that's all you focus on. You know what I mean? And then you don't focus on the things you can get online or near you. And then that way you're just like, all right, all I need to figure out is the outer fabric and the lining. And that's it. And then if you have time, you add another, you could always bring a backup project as well. That's how I felt shopping for yarn at a show. That's why I would always go, all right, I'm going to pick 4 designs, and then I'm going to go to, I would always pick a different yarn seller. Just say, all right, who do you have a sweater quantity in any of these weights? Oh, I'm pretty sure they do too, Nancy. There's no way. With the camera crew and all that? Oh my gosh, yeah. You leave some buttons, exactly. All right. I sort of want to put however I'm going to finish this right now. So I do feel like binding this is the best choice, except that it will make the armhole kind of stiff. Oh, wow, Terry. Hey, Corey. You're like, I'm just going to pop in and out. And then 2 hours later, yeah. See, I think binding this would look nice. It would be nice and clean. I could top stitch it to the bodice. It would make the ruffle, though, toward the body. But you would want that anyway, because otherwise it's going to be visible. You could overlock it and top stitch it down. That's a viable option and be less bulk and probably not as stiff. And I do have my serger set up with pink thread. I'm French seaming this though, so part of me feels a little bit like I'm cheating if I use my serger, you know. But I do want to give some options if you want this armhole clean. Because here's the deal, like you're going to be able to see right into this armhole. So you're going to need to do something. Overlock it. You're going to have to put it towards the body no matter what. So if I were drafting this, except for this placket, I would put it facing. I'd probably put it facing. What do I want to do? Do I want a binding or a serger? No. Serge and top stitch. Yeah, because I don't want it to get, I'm worried with the binding. I'm going to serge it. I'm going to stitch it down, then take these pins out so I can serge it. Yeah, I'm going to do that because I think the binding has a tendency to be kind of boardy. And I don't really want to make the armhole like stay in a perfect circle. French seam. Well, I don't have enough seam allowance there. I only allowed 3/8. Because I was assuming it was bound. Because I saw the instructions in there for binding the armhole. But that's if you're leaving it sleeveless without a ruffle. But with the seam allowance of a gathered ruffle in there as well, it will make it kind of boardy. Oh, I need to change my stitch length back down. I was like, wow, this seam's going really quick. So French seaming it isn't really a good spot for a French seam. I don't think you'd get the results. You know, it'd be kind of like a flat felling. I mean, Deborah, it's handy, right? Well, I don't mind using the serger. I'm going to. I think it's a good option here. I just try not to, just in case someone doesn't have a serger. So if someone doesn't have a serger and they're like, how am I going to finish it? You could zigzag the edge, but then I would definitely top stitch it down to the body, which I'm going to do with my serged edge here. If you have one of those like fake serging stitches on your machine, just like an overcast edge, that might be nice to kind of like mash down the seam allowance a little bit and flatten out your gathers. I haven't been very good about making sure I'm not stitching on the gathering stitch though. Just trying to evenly distribute. Oh, I have quite a few down here. Shoot. Let's get some up there. So I'm going to try and make this little angle end at the seam line, which is kind of hard since my seam allowance on the side seam is a little bigger. All right. I'm just going to look for things like this thread here. And looking for if my gathering stitch poked out. Better to do it now than before when I serge it. I'm not big on these kinds of ruffle armholes, but I think it looks really cute, so I'm going to try it. I guess I'm in this mood too, right? The Azores dress, I feel like this is like a good competitor to the Azores dress because maybe you don't want to use the bobbin elastic or you want the waist to have a little bit more flexibility, and the draw cord kind of offers that. And it has the kind of ruffle look to it still. Oh, that's good, Terry. I'm glad. Oh, that's great, Emily. Yeah, see, I think that this would be a perfect place for it. Kind of mashing down all the seam allowances. Oh, wait, let's find... Oh, we know it was about a 1/2 inch past the sleeve, or the shoulder. Right here is the center of my armhole, and I'll bet it's about the same for every size. It should be. Where I just found, there it is right there. So we'll match this up. Yeah, and I just don't think you need a serger for everything. It may take a tiny bit longer if you want to finish things really well. I mean, like, you know, when I'm doing French seaming, it's almost like you're sewing the dress twice. Let's be honest about it, right? But what I like about French seaming is that the garment feels really sturdy. Like, I feel like I can just rip it on and off. It can go in the laundry all the time. There's something about French seams that just make it feel really, it feels lower profile too. I don't know how to put it. The seam, the like finishing does. All right. Okay, I'm just putting in a few. I just want to get it roughly in the right place. And then we'll go to the serger. I will be doing a French seam on the side seam. Hopefully this doesn't really interrupt that. Did I unthread my needle again? Oh my God. Home sewing thread, man. It's so lightweight. So if some of you haven't been in the guild lately, I just started a new group in there. It's free, and it's to do a capsule wardrobe. For a French seam vestigia, I use 5/8, which is like the standard seam allowance you see on a lot of American patterns. I can't really convert on the fly. So like 3/8 is 35 millimeters, right? So it'd be a little less than double that. Yeah, 5/8. I think 5/8 is great because you could sew the first pass with a 1/4 inch and then the second pass with a 3/8 inch, or even trim it down, you know. In general, I'm not a big fan of 5/8 seam allowances. I like 1/2 inch, for wovens, and I like 3/8. But if I'm French seaming, I think 5/8, it just makes it easy. Some people like 3/4. They like it big. Thanks, Malone, yeah. Yeah, because 1 centimeter is a little over 1/4 of an inch, right? I see so many European patterns use 1 centimeter seam allowance, and that's pretty small. I do that on all my bags. And I do, the other thing is I think when you're production sewing, you're trying to cut out steps. And so if you have to trim seam allowances down, that's not only another step, but it's also a potential to accidentally cut into your garment or whatever your project is. Oh, I hope I made my shoulder seam go towards the back over here. Oh, I did, good. So just cutting out those kinds of steps is nice. Speed things up a bit, you know? All right. We don't really want this at the bottom of the ruffle. We want it towards the body of the sleeve. I'm kind of fussy about my gathers. I don't like it when they fold over on one another and make little pleats. And I'm trying to make sure all these little loose threads are towards the raw edge here. Okay. Kind of want this to be angle up like this. Okay. I think I'm just going to skip the removing of the stitches. Let's see here. All right. 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters, exactly. That too bright? It's a little bright. Yes, exactly, Shem. Yeah, like you can do it with 1/2 inch seam allowances and stuff, but it also depends on the fabric. If you're doing like a poplin, yeah, the world is your oyster. If you're doing a linen or something looser woven, good luck, you know? I'm gonna make my stitch length, oh, this is the width. I want my stitch length to be shorter. Oh, that felt bigger. Wait, does it go this way? Oh, okay, I see. Oh, that is contrary to what I think it would be. All right. You know, I calibrated this with a different fabric. So my serger edge is like, it's like kind of loose along the edge there. That helped at the end there. But look, that's kind of loose. Oof. Oof. get all these raw threads or loose threads and raw edges towards the raw edge. Quarter-inch French seams. Wow. Isn't there a term for that? All right, so part of me wants to do the side seam first. So let me think about this before I top stitch it down. Because if I sew and sew, like if this is in the round, if I do this now, that'll be okay. I kind of want my top stitch to be like a nice smooth circle. Oh, wow, Barbara. All right, so let's do a French seam. So if anyone didn't watch the cutting video, I added a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance to all my seams I'm going to French seam, because there's only 3/8 of an inch in the instructions, so you would have to add it before you started unless you're willing to lose quite a bit in circumference. This dress just seemed like it begged for French seams, you know? Oh, that one that you posted? Wow. I imagine you use like a toothpick instead of an awl for all your close-up stuff. He likes the challenge of it, I think, too. You really want the end result, don't you, Shem? Let's get that bobbin. So, you know, this is a good example. Let me see if you can see this because the fabric's a little busy. But this is my dart seam right here. And so this, you know, it's folded down. And so you see how this is like poking out a little bit? I'll exaggerate it. It's poking out a little bit of my seam and you think, oh, it's laying there like that. I should just cut that off. Don't do that unless it has to be that way. So what I do is make sure all my dart is flat here, because if you cut that, what happens is you're making this fold pull on the garment because it's pulled over into the seam allowance. So just be careful of that. I've done that once and I really regretted it. Okay, let's make sure. I think I can trim a tiny bit off, get a nice clean edge here. I like trimming my French seam edges, these right here, with a rotary knife. It's, for me, a little bit. I can get a nice smooth line rather than doing it awkwardly under a camera, you know? Don't you love it when you're looking for the other one and you go right back to the one you just trimmed? Okay. These scissors are just so tiny, but they're really nice to cut stuff like that with. Okay. I'm just going to press it really quick. You're using a really short stitch length then too, right? I imagine. That probably helps. See how you would have to top stitch this ruffle towards the body so that it stays out. Okay, so let's press the seam one direction and then the other. When I got my Way Whack catalog, opened it and I was like, I kind of want to work here. My husband's like, do you? And then I was like, you know, maybe not. Sounds fun. I bet it's not as fun. Okay. It's 4. That's the longest stitch length. What? Really? Are you sure? Use the longest stitch length? Wow. I can't even imagine this. I will still do the French seams on the side seam pocket since I know people like seeing that. All right, so let's top stitch the armhole. And let's look at it real quick. Yeah, so let's do this inside out like this. And then which one's the back? Let's figure out the back. Oh, there's the dart. That'll be our indication. Okay, there's the dart. So we're going to press the seam allowance. Oh, see, I didn't get that right at all. Look at that. Oh. See, this is why I didn't want to do it that way. I knew that there was something. The reason why I wanted to do this. This is a good example of why you do sleeves in the round. See, look, I can't press the seam allowance towards the body right there. Yeah, I'm taking this out right here. We're going to make it work. All right. So what we need right here is this to be done a little closer. So can I I know, this is crazy. I'm going to take out some of my serging. Kind of determined. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this ruffle toward the raw edge a little bit further. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's a muslin. Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to just hoik it over like this. Get more of a seam allowance here. We need 3/8 right there. This side was tapered better, so it wasn't such an issue. Oh, did you see at the beginning, Vestigia, that like threading your bobbin with that little arm in the bobbin? Make sure you put your bobbin thread through it. I'm really kind of hoiking this over there like this. Like that. And can I still fake this side? Hey, Ray. I see. You're going to chat to make me, or to make everybody drink, not me. Yeah. Just going to take it out. Kind of makes me mad. All right, I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna hoik that over a little bit. All right, and so now I'm gonna re-sew this since this just came out. Just like someone's sneezing under my window, which is really weird. It's like behind a building. Doze away, Ray. This is definitely a sleepy stream. Okay, Shim. Oh, right, Deborah. I feel you on that. Okay, that looks a little better, but it's not ideal. You know, I like that better than how it was. When I did that poll for people, the one that kind of spurred this whole pattern review thing, one of the comments I actually got a lot was, I want a pattern to tell me when to finish a seam. And that hadn't occurred to me before, how little that is said on a pattern. Now, I feel like my thoughts on that aren't that important because I know when to finish a seam. That's kind of just something that clicks for me. But when you see this, like, I know a lot of ways I could finish this armhole, but the fact that there wasn't one suggested in the pattern does make me kind of go, well, wait, am I missing something? You know, like, what was I supposed to do? What am I gonna, like, am I gonna regret doing all this because I didn't think about something in the future, you know? So I can see what people mean, you know, not having, like, I've thought about that a lot, and now I notice it all the time on patterns that don't tell you, you know, now is a good time to finish the seam. And now I'm starting to doubt every time I just do it on my own. You know, I'm like, wait, maybe I wasn't supposed to do that, you know. It's interesting. I've gone kind of through all these phases with that particular pull response. And I've had people bring it up since then too. So it sounds like, and I wouldn't say this about 5 out of 4 at all. Like I don't believe this, but in other pattern companies, I actually think they don't know. They just know what they want you to do, and they're just like, I don't know, you can just finish it. You'll know what to do. You know, it's that kind of feeling for me, and you know, that's not really the case. You might not know. And if you don't tell me to, I think you don't know. Well, you sound a little harsh, but I don't know. I see some crazy stuff sometimes. Okay. This one didn't come undone, so I don't have to resew this, but we just need to resew this. So now I have my sleeve ruffle mostly meeting right there. That's what you're looking for. All right, we're back on track, I think. So now I'm gonna press, let's get rid of some of these threads so I can kind of tame it, since I had to get rid of some of my serging. I'm gonna press this seam towards the back, the side seam, and I'm gonna press the armhole ruffle towards the body. And we're just gonna top stitch around the edge. Let's get rid of this. My little scissors aren't quite as sharp as they were. So that doesn't look as nice as I wanted it to. I'm going to do kind of a fat 1/8 of an inch because I really want to secure the serging down, especially since my little edge of the serger was a little bit loopy. It wasn't very tight around the edge of the fabric. I calibrated it the other day and I used something else, and I should have used some of this fabric. Yeah, you know, fair enough, Deborah. I actually think like that is a good, that's a good point, because 5 out of 4 does call all their patterns tutorials, and it always throws me off when I'm looking for the instructions. I'm always like, where's the instructions? There's like all these pattern files, and then I'm like, oh, tutorial, because I think of a tutorial as being like very detailed instructions step by step, and theirs are pretty much kind of. There's so much detail, but there's also a lot I find that you are kind of wondering about. So that's kind of an overgeneralization, so don't take me the wrong way there. I'm not saying it very well, but yeah. See ya, Ronald. It's a plastic sort of embroidery. The 5 cent and the foot is called 3. Oh, Okay, same thing. We're going to press that side seam towards the back, and then we're going to push the sleeve ruffle down on top of it. So I did remove my serging right here, but it's not going to be too bad. I could put this through the serger, but if I were to do this again, I know people won't like this, but I would recommend doing your side seam first and then putting your sleeve ruffle on. Then you can make sure your sleeve ruffle meets perfectly. And then you can also make sure it's symmetrical, because like one of my ruffles is like this and one's like that, you know? They're still meeting, but one is flatter and one's more, more of a curve. I'll show you in just a second. Oh, did I just run out of bobbin? Well, guess what? I was prepared. Take out a few stitches here. Okay. Has anyone seen, is Soda Fit still streaming lately? I think I saw some streams of hers in December, but I haven't seen if she's been up to anything lately. Those folks that do the like Vlogmas in December, oh my gosh, my hat is off to them. They stream or upload every day. I know some of them are just like really quick or short, but every day? So yeah, I would probably be taking a big break after that. All right, let's see how it looks. I hope this looks good on me. It sure is cute. All right, so then this is how my ruffle is meeting there. And see, it's not quite symmetrical. See how this one's flatter, this one's curvier, because I really forced it in there. I like the way this looks better, though. You know, I'd much rather this be like this. Right? Right? Wouldn't that be nice? So, oh yeah, definitely smash your fabric with the hammer. That actually makes a big difference. I use an antique iron. That's such a, I hate that, Vestigia. I know what you mean. Oh man. All right. Skirt time. All right, so first thing we're gonna do the ruffle. Actually, let's make the draw cord. Let's take a break, make the draw cord. So I had to piece mine together because I didn't quite have a long enough piece of fabric. And I'm doing this diagonal seam so that it offsets the thickness across the whole width. I'll probably, and maybe it's in the instructions to do this, I'll probably anchor my draw cord at the center back as well. Is this really big enough? This is not big enough. There's no way. There's no, it said cut 43. That's all I'd have. Okay, I did set up this camera, but we're gonna cut a one more piece of draw cord somehow in this scraps. Oh wait, was that cross grain or length grain? Do you guys remember? I'm literally in my scrap bin right now. Let's add this piece right here. I actually did think like, okay, so when you have to tie a bow, you need about 12 inches just to be able to do that. Why is that not that straight there? I remember thinking 43. I mean, kind of close. We're gonna make it really long. You taking off, Tara? Terry? See ya. Have a good one. All right. I'm gonna piece these together. I put them both right side up. And then now I can piece it. All right, let's see. All right, well, I'm gonna leave it like that. So I made mine. I'm making the size large, and I made this quite a bit bigger. I'm trying to measure it right now. $20, $40, $60, $80 inches, almost double. I don't think that's right. Yeah. All right, so that way now at least I know that's the finished length, and I can sew across the ends here. Yeah, we'll sew across the ends. Let's see. How big do we want this? Has to fit in my buttonhole. I cut it 1.5 inches wide. I kind of wish I would have cut it narrower because now I'm gonna have to trim it. I wonder if I use the cut length from something else, like the binding for the armhole, and not the waist. You know, that could be why. Let's just hope we can turn it all right side out, right? Otherwise, that'll be a problem. Like when I did the little tie on this dress. We resorted to edge stitching, which is nice. It makes it nice and flat, you know. It's really vibraty. I hope you figured it out, Miss Digia. When I sewed a jean jacket, I had a lot of trouble with my buttonholes on one particular buttonhole. The jacket came out just so amazing, and it was just so frustrating. That's when I ended up buying my buttonhole cutter. That ended up not really working for the really thickest one. I ended up using my seam ripper. I used a new seam ripper, and then that's the garment that I was being so careful. Like the whole time I was thinking, okay, you gotta be really careful. This is really heavy. You're gonna be pushing hard. You don't want to cut right through the end of the buttonhole. No, you know what I cut through? The collar. I pushed through the hole and then when I got through, I went right through the end of the brand new collar, like kind of, you know, in the middle of it, not at the, like I didn't cut the end or anything. And so I had to do something. I had to like walk away. I was like, oh, yeah, there's no coming back from that. I can't really like fix that. I had no more lining fabric, so I couldn't redo it. So I put a piece of Wonder Under inside, which is like Stitch Witchery, a double-sided fusible fabric. It's basically like a piece of glue. I stuck it between the layers. I didn't fiddle with it either. I took care of it right away because I didn't want it to start fraying since it was denim and cotton. And I slipped that little piece between the layers and ironed the heck out of it. It's almost invisible. If you know it's there and you look for it, you'll see it. But I also never wear the jacket because the hand pockets are so small. Yeah, right in the middle of the end of the collar. I should sell that jacket, to be honest. I would tell people that was there. But it's the Seamwork Audrey. But the hand holes are, I double checked. I don't know why they're so small, but I can barely get my hands in them, and it just makes me kind of mad. But it came out so cute, and I used a precious fabric for the undercollar and the pocket linings because it was this fabric my grandmother had used to make something for me, and then she gave me the scraps years and years later. What did I want to do here? Oh, I wanted to double check this corner right here where I just clipped it. I'm just going to reinforce it because this is the end that my loop turner is going to have to go through. But the jacket's been sitting in my closet ever since, not getting used, and it's just turned out so good. Can I fit this all in my loop turner? Oof. I should have done it the other way. I should have folded it and edge stitched it. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh, and I just reinforced that. I probably shouldn't have. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to cut the end off. And we'll just deal with the consequences of that later. Okay, we need this. You know, this one's getting a little touchy. All right. Do they, Mullen? I don't know, like they're front hand pockets, you know? You would think you'd be able to put your hands in those easily enough. The trick with this, don't do too much. Do like your hand width. Don't let it snap back because then it'll unhook on the end, off the end. And then when you can get the loop turner out of there and the end showing. Yeah, I was going to mention that, Barbara. You could just do it half and half because especially since this draw cord will be at the center back waist. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna slide this off the end here so I can hold the fabric now. Okay. Because now it's not attached to my loop turner. This is a pretty big, you know, tube though. Like it's not too hard. Yeah. So what Barbara's saying is I could have just left, like sewn across each end, but left an opening in the long edge in the middle. We're almost done. Okay. Let's press this. Put a chopstick in there and get this seam on the edge, if that makes it easier for you. Oh, check this out, you guys. I got my mom some fabric for her birthday. I got the Nanny Arrow linen. I hope she likes it. I'm gonna make her a Piper boho tunic. I washed it and then ironed it dry, so I didn't put it in the dryer. Because I know the first thing she's going to say is, oh, that looks like it's going to need ironing. And at first when I saw the fabric, I was like, ooh, this is pretty vibrant. But my husband was like, ooh, that's pretty. Like, he liked it. So I was like, all right, well, maybe, I hope my mom likes it. Because I can't wear her size. She's a lot smaller than me. So okay, this is the end. Hey Taya, how's it going? Yeah, I love that. You know, I think it's the same print as my tea house dress that I wear in like a bluish turquoise color all the time. Well, not right now, but in the summer. I'm pretty sure it's the same print, but the white background. I got it from Hearts. So, I already turned it, Kathy. You missed that part. Now I just gotta get my ends in there. And I'm gonna edge stitch them down. There's a lot of details. You know, I tend to pick the patterns by 5 out of 4 that have a lot of labor. But I like it that way. Like, I'm not criticizing it. But like the Zen pants, remember those? Those have a lot of little details that make them really great, though. If I made those again, there's a couple things I would do to simplify them. I would make that waistband one piece, or at least the seam around the lineup. And then I would also make the, I'd probably not make the patch pockets. I'd just make them pockets that go to the inside, like jean pockets, you know. But because that's meant for like a sweatshirt knit, I think that's why. Or something stretchy like that. Not sweatshirt knit. I shouldn't have said that. So do you mean, Malin, like to make it small enough, you'd have to put your buttons and buttonholes really far into the cuff? That is kind of a big a big placket for a cuff, huh? Let's give myself a nice clean edge. I think it's because I'm always looking for all the wovens on the 5 out of 4 site. Okay, got it in there. Just need to straighten it out a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna edge stitch the whole thing. I'm doing this because I don't really want to have to iron it, and I really want it nice and flat in that casing. You see it just got whiter. It's getting narrower at the seams where it's joined. So here's a seam right there. This vibrates worse now. I'll put those vibration pads back on. All right. You can't believe it worked? Yeah, it was a kind of a long stretch. It actually worked really good, though. This is a good width for it. But I know a lot of people that don't like these, so I think it's just one of those things, you know, like some people like the toilet paper roll to go over and some people like to go under. I think it's the same thing. It's like the pineapple pizza question. All right. So now that's ready to go when we're ready for it. And let's get the hem ruffles out. Let's put our pockets. No. We're gonna put ruffles. So there's 2 per skirt. So let's sew 1 together. I wish my differential would be perfect for this, but I just don't think it is. I'm gonna cheat and just finger press this. I was thinking that, because my machine's been vibrates under the camera, I don't see other people's do this. I don't know why mine does, you know? And so I bought vibration pads. I bought a couple different kinds, and I put my machine on them, but it's still vibrating. So then I was like, maybe it's those, because I also, I know what else I did. So I had a rug in here, and I have a real underlayment, the cushion of a floor. Like if you were to install carpet in a house, they put that padding. It's got blue on one side, and it's all like that chunked up foam that's glued together. I put that stuff underneath for sound deadening and stuff like that in here. And I thought, okay, that's the culprit. And so then I took that out, but I kept the vibration pads on the hard floor, and it was still vibrating. So I just thought, well, maybe the machine just doesn't vibrate. No, it's a laminate floor, but I feel like it's a laminate even though I'm on the 2nd floor, it might be concrete under there. Look at it, it's not doing that here. Is it the cameras? It literally looks like my machine's moving on the thing. You know? We'll just get it over with. Oh, shoot. I got really close right there. All right. Hi, Louise. You don't notice the vibration? You're watching on a phone, maybe. It's not? Okay, good. Sometimes when I'm editing a video, I'm like, oh my God. There's so much I would change in almost any of my videos, though. I have all of the videos recorded all of the stuff, all the images, all the sketches made, all the patterns made, all the patterns scanned in, everything. And I'm editing some of the videos for the pocket skill building session. And now I want to re-record all of it. I want to redo all of it. You know, it's like that's always how it happens for me. I'm always like, It's like once you kind of go through it, you're like, I know how I could do this a little different. You know? It's not that it's bad. It's just like, oh, but if I could. It's like once I have the idea, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that a little differently. All right. If you want to break up this gathering section, you could start and stop at that seam as well. I have a feeling, well, I'm just going to leave that amount right there and we'll see how much it is. Maybe it's too much, maybe it's too little. On the sleeve ruffle, I was definitely overdoing it, but it's plenty ruffly, right? Yeah, and when I edit, I try and do it on a really big screen. I've also been making the face cam window smaller. It looks small to me here, but then I see it on a big big screen. I'm like, oh, that's big. I'm taking up way too much space. And right now, it's kind of like it's not even centered or zoomed in. We're here for the sewing though, right? When I do stuff like linens, when I'm gathering stuff like that, one of the things I try to pay attention to is not rubbing this cut edge because it's already going to get kind of thready, you know? So I try and keep my fingers on the gathers. You'll still get some, but... All right, so you could technically do a French seam for these, and I was thinking about doing that. It's not ideal though. It is a little bit tricky because the gathers might lay a little bit funny. So if you really want a clean, finished, gathered edge like this, say you're like me, I'm French seaming most of it, you could bind it. And then on the, what was that called? What's the Top by Friday pattern company that I made into a dress? I made into the orange plaid dress. I hacked the heck out of that thing. Really cute top. What the heck is the name of that? That one, I ended up enclosing the seam with the skirt onto the skirt. So in other words, when I put it to the skirt, I think I did something like this where I sewed it right sides together, where I left a wide seam allowance and then folded over and enclosed it with the fabric. So that's something you can do. Maybe that's what I'll do today. It makes it a little bit boardy and stiff. It's kind of like binding it, but without having to bind it. I bet that's something similar we're going to do on the draw cord waist, which I really need to look at those instructions. Okay, so we have one. Let's do the other. That was a little wide. Sagebrush. Thank you. Thank you, Delman. Dang, I don't think that was ever going to come to me. Like the S seems vaguely familiar, but I wasn't going to get there. We're just going to finger press it. Save a little time here. Did that come unthreaded? Oh no, it's fine. There's some good things about industrials, right? Everything's good about an industrial. We're not even going as fast as we can. So what are you guys all sewing? Are you guys just hanging out with me and sewing? What are you working on? It's such a beautiful day here, and I was texting my friend in Eastern Canada, and I was sending him trail cam videos because I got Michael trail cam for Christmas, and so it's motion activated, and we have it on the back gate facing our house. And he was showing me, last night we got a bobcat and we got 2 foxes. And one of the foxes went all the way up to the camera and it got overexposed. It's not like you could see the fox, but it's kind of funny. And that's one of the places where they go in and out right there along this gate. And so I sent that to him. I was like, yeah, this is like a half hour after I took the dogs out last night. And the dogs acted funny when I brought them out. So I was like, oh gosh, there's something back there. And then he said, oh, well, this is what was happening at 4 a.m. my time. And he sent this video out his window, and it was just sideways snow. Couldn't see anything. I was like, oh, I'm really sorry about our gorgeous weather that I just sent you videos of. Hi, Martina. Nice, Mullen. That's awesome. I think I might make that out of this dark purple flannel I got. I do, Wavika. Welcome. I have it on my machine. It says 3, and I'm not sure what that means. Thanks for reminding me to put it back. I would guess, though, that this is, let's see, if this is an inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches per inch. I don't know if that, you're an imperial or not, if that helps you. 9 stitches per centimeter. Isn't that how it happens, Barbara? Like, it's like, gets worse before it gets better. I did a little bit of that over the holidays. Oh, nice. You got to sew for 5 hours? Nice, Martina. I made the Caroline in some knit for the tops. I made 2 of them in knits. That was kind of a fun project because I got the same print in a woven and in a knit from Spoonflower because I wanted woven jammy bottoms, but I wanted a knit top. They're a little too short. I hardly wear one of them. The other one is the same, actually. You're making an Ilford. Uh-huh. Oh, nice. That's called Hong Kong finish, right? I've heard that term. I never knew it had a term. I did that on the inside of a paper cut pinnacle top, but I never sewed that with you guys. But I will be with Hearts Fabric Sent It. They have increased their sizing on that pattern, and I've wanted to sew it with you guys mainly because it's very few seams, but it has a big impact because of that V inset above and below on the center front. And lengthening and shortening it is kind of a really interesting prospect. So I wanted to be able to show that. But I also realized it was very not inclusive in the sizing, so I held back on doing that with you guys. I can't remember even why I sewed it for me. Oh, you started on your Stadmantle coat? Nice. Sorry, there's a lot of tedious details, you guys. This is when you wish it was edited, huh? Well, if you're watching this in the future, you can fast forward or change the speed. I have a Zoom today with the master group folks too. I can't forget at 4. So I gotta be done before then. Okay, so let's see how close this is. We're gonna sew them onto each skirt. So make sure you don't sew it to the top skirt. You want to sew it to the bottom of the skirt. Oh, it looks like I can gather it some more. So I have this center notch. I found the center of my skirt and I gave myself a notch. I'm not sure that's in the, oh, shoot. I have my foot propped up on the back. My pincushion went flying earlier. Oh, look at that. I have a lot more ruffling to do. We could raise this back up again. Dang, it's a lot of ruffle. Let's see, am I close now? There we go. All right, let's get these threads towards the raw edges there. It might even be nice if you had a halfway point between here and on your ruffle. I know I have one on my ruffle here. I'm just getting them evenly distributed. What kind of fabric are you doing that in, Mullen? Is it heavy? I imagine it's heavy. All right, I'm just gonna put a couple pins and that's it on this section. So this is what I'm talking about. Oh wait, I need to figure out how I'm finishing this. So what I could do is sew this maybe like staggered like this, right? Sew it on there and then enclose it with this upper, I'd have to trim that down though, or make a really big wide seam, right? So my skirt would get a little smaller. So then look, see I can enclose it like this. Kind of like a built-in binding without being bias cut. Hi Suzanne. You cut a Cheyenne tunic? Nice. Quilted Ilford. Quilted Ilford. That is kind of hard. I'd like to make another tamarack. What do you guys think? I don't probably have enough to do binding. Could I do a French seam? Let's do a French seam. Yeah. I'll give myself some center notches now. Boiled wool canvas facings. Oh, okay. I really want some gathers through this seam right here so it's not flat like it is right now. We need to put a lot of gathers over here. Cover up this seam. That's the one drawback of if you wanted to split up your gathering stitches so that you are only putting in the gathers for each section, your gather stitches start and stop in each section. The problem with that is that your gathers tend to go flat where the threads are that you're pulling. But the same can be said with this because, you know, this seam, because of that French seam, it's kind of flattening it out and it's hard for this to gather. I'm definitely going to have to be conscious of it, like maybe force the gathers into this section right here. Scrunch up that seam so that it blends in a little better, like that. And that seam's still there. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, the Ilford's a nice, simple, straight, kind of an unlined, right? It is unlined coat. It's almost like a shacket. We all know how much I love that word. It's more like an overshirt, you know, like a button down, oversized button down. I think they're really popular because it's a simple sew, and you get a whole jacket out of it. Like it would be a way to have a few different jackets, as long as you didn't need like a heavy duty lined coat, probably like what Malin's making. But she lives somewhere where a heavy duty lined coat is very useful. Oh, you were telling her about that coat. Yeah, yeah. Is the Stadmantle by, it's not Stocks Patterns, right? All right. Oh, man. I'm so tight between my shoulder blades when I stream. Get a bunch of gathers down there. It's a little thready there, but it's not too bad, right? All right. Force them down there. Redistribute. All right, I'm going to start, and I'm going to distribute as I go. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam, which is going to go in the middle of my gathering stitches. A lot of people like doing it that way, actually. Let's get all these threads towards the raw edge. Some people like to even overlock their seams for French seams. This would be a good one to do that on. I'm going to try and get some of these gathers towards the seam here. All right. Oh, all these threads. See, it can get really bad. Some fabrics are just a nightmare. Anyone sewn like taffeta prom dresses that have gathers? Oof. That stuff has a mind of its own. And threads for days. So I wish my differential on my serger would be good for this, but it wouldn't. My experience, the differential on a serger is great for very, very lightweight fabrics, or not much gathers. Like it could have worked on the ruffle of the sleeve, the hem, the armhole ruffle, because there wasn't a lot. But my experience is that once you use your serger to put in the differential, the gathering stitches, where's this? Oh, that was funny. If it's not right, you have to take out serging to fix it, you know? You were a bit triggered when I used what? It's Stocks, yeah, okay. Oh, it's unlined. I had someone email me a picture of them, not email me, direct message me on Instagram asking me how to fit their, not how to, but they're wondering if my sleeve skill building session would help them fit their the garment they had and was wondering what was going on with it. And I couldn't tell because they were holding the camera, so it was making it bunch up anyway. But I'm hoping that they get that session and it helps, because I don't know what that garment was, but there was something really crazy going on with it. I'm definitely not going to fit someone's sleeves and armholes in my Instagram DMs, so hopefully they get some help, because I don't know what was going on with that. I would have liked to know more about it. Okay, let's get these gathers laying nicer. I'm going to put some towards the side seam here. All right, so sometimes when I have these little flat areas that I want gathers, because this is the side seam, I don't want it to really flatten out, even though, you know, it's the end of the seam. It's not actually the end of the skirt. It's going to go around. So sometimes what I do is I make sure I have fabric down here that can be gathered. So I'm going to slide some of this down here. And see, now it's hanging off the edge of my skirt. I will hold on to these threads and pull it so that it scrunches up as close to the end as possible. It's a little easier when you're coming toward it like I am now. I feel like I can get more here. All right. Hey, you made it back, Terry. The jacket, yeah, I know, that word. Ugh. We don't like it, do we? All right, so I'm gonna trim this edge. So I have a nice clean edge. This would be great with a rotary knife rather than scissors. I would normally do a rotary knife. All right, let's press it real quick. The sewing machine ruffler. That's a good idea. I'll bet with your children's experience, Emily, you know all the ways to ruffle things quick. A ruffler is a great idea. Different than a differential. My friend had a machine where she could set the differential. And I think that works really good, because then you can say, oh, I want a 2-to-1 ratio, because that's what it is. It's a ratio. In fact, in some things that you send out to be ruffled, that's what you speak in. You speak in like the ratio. Who knows though? It could be different now. I haven't done that for a really long time. All right, so I'm just pressing this, because getting a nice clean French seam on a gathered edge is a little hard. Okay, we're gonna fold this just like this. I'm gonna try and keep it lined up here. I hope my gathers still look good after this. Not ideal, but it'll be nice and clean on the inside. See how that wants to do a weird little thing there. Doesn't really want to lay nice and flat, you know? Okay. Aren't you proud of me that I didn't mention that we're doing this in a half and not in the full round too? I would never normally do that. Like having a side seam go straight through the ruffle. Okay, not ideal. Let's see, so we can get this ironing a little better right here. Maybe it's better to iron from this side. Let's see. Nah. There's a spot right here I want to focus on. Get that right on the edge. Hi, Helen. Welcome. Yes. There is a chart on in the pattern. Is there a printed pattern option for that? Because I've only seen the PDF, and when you open it up, there is a chart, and then you add up each thing that you want. Fair warning, you are adding thirds to quarters and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. But it'll give you a good idea of what you wanted. And I didn't buy this fabric for this project, so I cut it really close. In fact, my hem ruffles are on the cross grain. But you're not going to tell, right? So yeah, don't forget to include the bodice because that's the very first column. And so I almost missed it a few times. I don't know why, because it's like a, you know, everyone gets the bodice. So, oops, that my seam, look at that, it kind of rolled towards the, and welcome to the stream. Thanks for chatting. They're all talking about rufflers, I think, right now. Ruffler attachments. Terry, the resident attachment maven, is in the house. Yeah, French seaming, a gathered seam. Not for the faint of heart. Ooh, Emily, that's so smart. That'll be awesome. That'll be so handy. Let's hope I've enclosed my raw edge in here. So I'm just keep adjusting my ruffles because I want them to be straight from the seam. And you know, because we're now in the kind of ruffled area past the gathering stitches, it wants to just kind of fold on it. So look at this big one right here. It wants to do this because I kind of ironed it. So I'm just straightening it out and pulling it straight down from the seam to kind of make it behave a little better. Because it'll look different on the other side. Like I can do whatever I want on this side, but it's still going to look a little different on the right side. See. that looks good. And then it's nice and clean finished in here. I wouldn't say nice and clean finished, but see, my seam did roll over to the side there. All right, one more. It's a long one today, you guys. All right, so we're gonna do this wrong sides together again. You guys are all so smart. I love all the machine talk and stuff. This is the bottom. Yep. Okay. Oof. That's a lot of ruffling. We've set up the Cricket's old room, which is like this little freestanding cottage. It's a really beautiful cottage, but it's funky. Like, it's funky because it's really easy. It gets dirty really easy. Like, there's just no transition between the outdoors and the cottage, you know? And it's on a slab foundation, so it's like flush with the ground, you know? So there's not even that barrier above. So, you know, it has some struggles, but it's so nice inside. Like, it's really calm and peaceful. And I just set it up for a little workout area and guest room. And every time I walk in there, there's something about it. It just makes me kind of smile. And I didn't spend much time in there when Cricket was there, living there. So it's kind of new to me too. And I every time I'm like, this would be such a nice sewing room. Oh, is that one for you, Terry? I don't have a sewing room at home. It would be nice. We have so much stuff we do at our house, though, yard work and stuff. All right. Let's get these gathers really towards the center where this French seam is, and it doesn't really want to gather. And I'll just put one more pin here. I don't really need these, but I'm rushing a little bit, and I know that's a bad idea, but you know. Yeah, you're welcome, Helen. Yeah, it is a little, there's so many options in this pattern. It's easy to get kind of lost in that chart. Because then I was like, well, wait, I do want the ruffle, but what do I want the circle skirt? I was like, wait. So once I kind of, you know, separated one thing from another, it helped me determine my yardages. All right. Jerk. Why'd you have to come unthreaded? All right. I want more gathers towards this side seam though. I keep flattening it, you know, it's just like a habit for some reason, or some sort of like weird compulsion. I want some gathers towards that side seam though. At least up to where the seam line will be. I'm just gonna get rid of this little bit of that gathering thread. I think this is my last tedious step, you guys. And then we're gonna do the side seams and pockets, and I'll do those with the French seam. And then we're gonna do the waist seam, and then we're done. Oh, I need to hem this ruffle, but I can always do that off camera if you want to want me to get to the other good stuff. Do the hem at the end, maybe. This is too much gathers right there. I really could have used some of these gathers towards the side seam. This is the front skirt. I know, because of the buttonholes there. I've been so relieved that I didn't see the buttonholes at the center here at the bottom. Indoor outdoor sewing room. You know, I hate to admit it, but one of the things I really like about it out there, and I don't know why this is, because I'm not bugged by my animals or anything, you know, but Loki really is. He's a little barnacle. He's always wherever I go. And if I go and work out there, it drives him nuts. And so, well, it just drives him nuts when he knows I'm still at home, but he's not able to, like, hang out. So one day I did let him go in there with me, and he was like, this is it? And then he was a problem. So I don't really want him in there. But that is one of the things that it just feels like, a secret space, you know? It's like if you were a parent with a lot of kids and you just need that one space where you're like, nobody's allowed in here but me. That's kind of how it feels. And my husband feels the same way. Like, he'll watch a soccer game out there. It's the first time I kind of understand, you know, when people do the, like they build a yoga room or a meditation room on the property. I have to admit, in the past, I've been like, why couldn't you just do that in like a corner of the room, you know? I wonder what makes it different, you know? And this time, now I feel it. I feel like it's very peaceful out there. It's very quiet. It's quieter than the house because of the way it's positioned. I don't know. It's a very nice space. It would be nice to sew out there. All right. We're getting there, peeps. At least if there's one thing you've gotten from me sewing this today, is that you'll probably not do a French seam here, huh? You're like, okay, that's enough for me not to do that. Oof, almost cut my dress. All right, let's see here. Quick iron. The bonus room used to be just mine. Thanks to the panini. I had to get a half tubby. Oh. You're sharing the bonus room. My husband has to go, like, I think by April 1st, they're going back to the office. I'm going to try a different strategy. I'm going to press this ruffle down. I don't know why. I'm just going to try something. You just never know sometimes what can work better. I'm going to pull the ruffle as I do it. This is kind of nice in that I can control the way the ruffle looks when I do this. What's that little wrinkle there? Okay, it's just a wrinkle. It's not a wrinkle in the seam. a feeling that actually was better. Let's see. Yeah, that does actually feel a little better, like doing that method to tame this gathered edge in order to. So I could probably even get away with skipping this step right now. It feels like it wants to fold there. See that? I do have a few threads though. Let's get rid of some of these. Yeah, that actually was nice. Just kind of slides right on there. See that? Still gonna get this. I gotta decide what details from that tunic to make on my mom's. Because I don't think... She definitely wants, I know, long sleeves. Like, she doesn't know I'm making it, but I know she'd want that. Where? There it is. Nancy. Oh, really, Terry? I'm surprised. Huh. Okay. I think this is one French seam where you can really lose sight of the fact that you want to enclose those raw edges, you know, because you're so focused on the seam there and how tricky it is to iron it that you might get some raw edges showing. Yeah, you know, Wyvika, I did that once, and it actually does look really nice. And I feel like in some ways, like binding is nice because the seam would be hanging free. When you enclose it, it shows on the right side because you have to stitch it down to the garment. But there's benefits to that too. You know, it's nice and low profile, but it does then add to the like stiffness of that seam. So if you're doing something that you wanted really floaty and drapey, it might make it look a little bit more forced right there. I don't know how else to put it. And, you know, the French seam is more like binding, right? Because it lets the seam kind of hang free. Binding is probably faster and easier. Yes, I said it. Because you could do the first pass and then bind. Well, okay. But it's a little bit more sewing. Nancy. That's hilarious. My husband and I are such solitary creatures. It's really funny. I think people, you know, like we just, like even in the evenings, we just do our own thing and we're totally fine with that, you know. We even have slightly different schedules. But I think it's partly why we like each other so much is that we're both so independent. And I like doing that. Like like lately we haven't had a chance to like eat dinner at the like together. We're a little out of sync. Or it's not that. We've been eating together. We just haven't sat at the table. And that's really nice when we get to do that. All right. I did get my raw edge in there. Phew. All right. Now we're going to put the side seam, or the pockets on. So because this ruffle was put on before the side seams are in, this is one thing I want you to make sure that you do, is make sure that the seam is going to line up when you go to sew all this together. You don't want to put your pocket in, and then this seam like be a 1/2 inch below right there, right? And your ruffle not be in a nice continuous circle. This is kind of cheating that we're doing it this way. Yeah, exactly, Malin. Flat filled. Yeah, I mean, it kind of is, Taya, except that yeah, I think you could call it that. I would call it a flat filled seam. It's more of like an on the fly flat filled seam, you know? All right, so let's make sure that when we get that going, that our notches for our pocket are still lining up so that I know I can trust that when I go to do it later. And it's nice when you do a French seam for something like this because you do get kind of, you know, a double opportunity to make sure it's all matching. Don't pull this because it's slightly on the bias being a angled seam. See, so this one is a little bit, oh wait, maybe that'll make it better. It's okay. Okay. All right. Grab a couple pockets. Grab a skirt. Wrong sides together. We're gonna find those notches, which are down here. I think this is, yep, centered over those notches. There's probably notches on the pocket. I added seam allowance to be able to do this. I added a 1/4 inch, so it totals 5/8. Okay. All right, and let's do the other one. Yeah, I really like that we were watching the series Ozark recently together. And that was a really fun little, like, you know, routine we got into. It was really confusing for the dogs. Because we would watch it upstairs in my little area. And they were like, but we sit on those chairs. And we were like, no. You're not sitting here while we eat. We could have, you know, done it out in the cottage, and then where they would have been really upset. All right, let's press this a little bit. Not that one, this one. Oh, geez, I keep pressing my, look at that. I keep pressing my machine. Sorry. What I do is when I have my feet on the pedals, sometimes I put my foot up on the crossbar because it's more comfortable for my hip. And now that it's not on those rubber like pads, that's kind of made them tacky, to make it tacky to the floor. All right. This would be a cute skirt all on its own. You could just put the draw cord in at the waist in a casing, and you'd have a pretty cute skirt. You could even make the bodice separate, and then you'd have separates. You know, hem the top. I think the bodice, though, gathers into the waist. Oh no, it probably doesn't actually because of the draw cord. So yeah, you could do that. You could even tuck it in when you wear it. So if you don't like pullover dresses, or you have maybe some mobility issues and you like the separates, or maybe you just want to be able to mix and match the top. It's very intriguing. Oh my gosh, Terry. I won't say anything, but can you please watch it? It's only the first half of the last season. So, so when it ends, it's not the end. That's all I'll say. Where's this going here? All right, so now we have that seam finished. So we're just going to go through and finish all these. It's double the sewing, I don't know. But a French seamed pocket, very nice. Yeah, it's pretty dark, Nancy. It's definitely pretty dark. Oh yeah, I thought I felt a little bit of a raw edge right there, so I'm going to straighten that out a little bit. I'm also going to edge stitch these pockets in just a second. I have to admit, side seam pockets, as much as we use them, they're just, I don't know, they're kind of bulky. And there are alternatives, but they're not all that great either. So I try and make them less bulky by stitching them down. I should have trimmed that seam allowance. It's kind of biting me in the butt right now. Okay, so I'm going to press the seam allowance toward the pocket and edge stitch it. Just like I said, just trying to get it as flat as possible. I don't really like the opening of side seam pockets to be kind of like poofy, you know. It's nice. Like, these are the perfect pocket for a dress like this because they're somewhat invisible, so they don't disrupt the style of the dress. You could do, I'm gonna backstitch, cutaway pockets, but those are visible. You could do slash pocket. I think slash pockets would be perfect for this dress, actually. That would have been a good thing to do. And when you take my pocket course, you'll know how. Oh, nice, Terry. They're on winter break now. Are they in year-round school? See, Black Mirror, that looks so dark. That's why I have never watched it. And it looks a little bit, oh, look at that seam right there. No. It looks like you can't tell what's reality in those. And so I didn't watch those. I like to know what's reality. We're all so funny, aren't we? I just want one. I don't want the thread of the fabric, please. Just the thread. There we go. Where is that? That is right here. Okay. I just need to make my seam allowance a tad bigger because I was silly and did not trim that seam allowance. And now you're seeing why you need to do that. Night, Mullen. Have a good weekend. You just watched the 7th episode last night. I only allowed myself to watch one a day. Delayed drive. Yeah, it'll be later in the year. They haven't set a date though, have they? Hi, Beverly. I said hi to you earlier, right? I was just thinking about you. Is she really She's one of my all-time now favorite characters of any series I've watched. She was in The Americans. And I was watching The Americans when I had seen just the first season of Ozark, and I was like, that's that girl. I like her so much. I've been kind of intrigued to watch that show, but that one is another one that looks like you can't tell what's reality, but I don't really know what it's about. So maybe I should just look. That's interesting. Well, I mean, Ozark's pretty black and white. All right, so now we're gonna do the sides here, put wrong sides together. If you want a tutorial on how to do a French seam inseam pocket, there's a dedicated video, which is nice and tidy and not me chatting away about TV shows. And it's on my YouTube channel under the I think it's called Quick How To Essentials. It's in a playlist there. If you go to my website, it's really easy to find, and then you'll have a link directly to it. Okay. This style has this weird little turn back. So we're just going to ignore all this mess right here. Now, I could actually clip into these too, these little folded back sections, and make them lay flat. That's fine. I don't usually always do that though, just so they're nice and flat. We'll see, are they down here too? Right here. And right here, just up to the seam allowance. All right, so now we're gonna, I think I see some threads I wanna clip right there, yeah. All right, so I try and get my seam one on top of the other here, like this, but if you get it a little off, it'll be okay. And we're gonna come straight down, since it's a French seam, we're gonna come straight down. We're not on the side of this. We're not at that last seam yet, so it's okay. It seems really awkward, but we're gonna come down into the pocket, and then we're gonna do our pivot. You love The Americans? Yeah, me too. I thought that was really good. I started watching it when it came out, and then I stopped because I think I get a little bit frustrated with shows when you're like rooting for bad guys. I've told you guys that. But then I really ended up liking how the characters develop. I'm not really rooting for the family, the birds in the Ozarks. I don't feel like I should root for them. I'm rooting for Ruth. All right, pivot again. I could probably go a little further, just so I can stay at that 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let's try and get our side seam lined up here at the ruffle. I have this little extra hanging out, so let's just trim that off. It won't make a difference. I was thinking about doing a class this summer. I don't know, is there any interest in that? Maybe one on how to sew a button-down shirt or how to sew jeans. Unless you want something else. Okay, so let's trim this. I did. Okay, good. Nice, Beverly. Thank you. Yeah, it was so good, Dylan. I agree. Those two are married in real life, I think, too. I heard them interviewed last year because they were in something else, maybe? I don't know their names, but they were interviewed and they brought that up. Yeah, I found the Americans late too. I didn't find them late. I started, oh, I know what it was. We moved here, and so it interrupted me, and I just forgot like what I was watching. You're converting your Ben Jessica blazer sleeves into the linen scrunch. Oh, nice. I love Succession. I haven't seen the second season, though, because we don't have HBO right now. I'm waiting for The Last of Us to come out, and so then we'll get HBO. I hope I can watch both then. Did someone say something about The Sopranos? Or maybe it was The Succession. I never finished The Sopranos. That one, I watched a lot of it too, but I had trouble rooting for them. Just a weirdo. Okay, let's do this side now. That way we can iron both at the same time. Ooh. Lots of steps in this. But it's gonna be cute. I'm just gonna clip this right here and clip this right here, which is just that seam allowance right above and then right below the pocket here. This one doesn't really need it. When it has that little tag of seam allowance on the end of the pocket, for doing the French seam, it kind of changes it a little bit, like the way it looks, you know. It's fine, it's just... So even though this is hanging past this right here, this little piece, I'm more concerned about getting this pocket opening seam right on top of the other one. So that's really my priority. You can see this pocket's slightly lower too, but we'll make it all even. Come down a little bit. Line up these edges. Get it back on track. Okay, be good to know, Fiona. I was thinking summer might be good since, I don't know, summer is like is either worse for people or better for people. Better for people when their kids are out of school, and worse for people because their kids are out of school. I find that the live streams are definitely not as well attended in the summer because people are busy. They're enjoying the outdoors and stuff, you know? All right, let's even up this skirt here too. Look at this, I have another one of these. Even it up a little bit. Whoops. Let's get that seam lined up. All right, now we're gonna trim it, we're gonna press it, sew the seam, then we have the waist seam, and we're done. I still actually don't know how they sew it either. I gotta look at the directions. I should have looked at that. I looked at the placket so much, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it my way. I don't think I did it much different than them, but it was just a lot of instructions, so I kept getting kind of lost. All right, I'm just trimming this. Yeah, right, Beverly? I agree. I think sewing a shirt has so many good skills in it that are usable so many places, you know? And there's usually at least one person in your life who can use one and who would wear one. But I also know the trepidation around jeans. And personally speaking, I think the biggest thing to worry about with jeans is if your machine can sew the fabric, I can get you through everything else. The fit's the other thing, right? All right, let's go to the iron. Oh gosh, I keep pushing my machine. All right, so I'm gonna just offset my side seams from one another like this, and then first press it with my iron like this. Just press it one direction. We'll do above and below the pocket here. Maybe I'll go like this. Try and get this. And this little ruffle area. Okay. Now let's do this side. Press it one direction. Doesn't matter which way. As long as you just press it down, it'll be easier next step. Up here. All right, and now from the inside. Okay, we're gonna pull the pocket out. Try and get this seam right on the edge. You don't want it to hang wonky. Do I need to trim this, or I thought I clipped into this? You got to make sure, maybe I didn't because I wanted to make sure you could see it. Oh yeah, so at the bottom pocket, when we came around and we went up into the seam and then down, you got to clip up into that part where we pivoted. Excuse me. I probably should get some water. Right there. I don't think it's as imperative up here, but we'll do it anyway. Here's my little corner. Right here. Oh, I did this one. I need to get water. Okay, sorry about that. So this one, is that the one I just did? That is, isn't it? All right, so this one here. Oh no, I just did both of them. Okay, I had already done one at the machine. That's what it is. Okay, cool. So yeah, I just want to clip into that pivot point here and at the top, especially at the bottom though, because otherwise it pulls and looks pretty bad. And see, it still is a little bit, but we'll straighten out a lot of that right now. All right, so get that seam right on the edge. And then I kind of roll it, my fingers like this, get it right on the edge there. Night, Louise. Night, Wavika. Thanks for coming. Beverly, that is my issue too. Yeah, I already have a belly and it just pokes out even worse because of the hip tilt. Yep. All right. I just created a wrinkle there. Stop that. All right, so let's get this a little flatter right there. See, this opening on this side, this piece looks bigger than this one. See how this one's flatter, and then this one, I have a little bit of a bubble. This might be the one I was trying to match, kind of get it caught up when I went around. Maybe do a little bit of some sorcery there to kind of get that, because you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of poofing up right there. So yeah, see, look at that. Oh, that's pretty far off. So, let's look at it on this side. I mean, is that going to be a problem? Let's hope that's not a problem. I can get it out of the along the like top up here. Like I can kind of push it up there, but it's a little cheating, you know. I don't want it to hang funny. That right on the edge. It's nuts. This is the time of year where I used to go to shows. I'd be at a show in Washington right now. And then next weekend I would have been one in San Francisco, and they moved that one to Sacramento, which is actually close to me now. And they put it like an extra week later, so I would have actually had space between the shows. But it's crazy thinking that's what a lot of my old friends are doing right now. They're at these big shows because now the panini has calmed down. Hi, April. Yep, French seams. You've missed most of the tedium. Oh, really, Nancy? All right, so for this first pass, I'm just going to go down and close that raw edge and around, and then I'm going to come back and define the pocket opening. So all we're doing right now is looking at being parallel to the sewn edge that we've already done. Don't worry about all this. We're going to go down the middle of it. It's going to look like we're doing it in the wrong spot at first. And then we're going to pivot. Because there's things we could do to optimize this pattern for French seams, but it still works. Like, it works fine to do it, you know, so we just use it as is. All right, and so here with this skirt ruffle, I kind of want to see, how am I doing? I'm going to kind of place it on top. See if I can get it to be right on top. My machine's going to want to push it off because it's so thick right there. It wants to push it towards me, the top layer. Press my presser foot up and down a little bit. The gathers are going to hide most of it, but you know, it's nice if it lines up. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, I'll take that. Okay, so now that we have, because we have this in front of us, let's do this right now. So we only need our pocket opening. You can make it however big you want, right? And so I'm going to make mine, let's see, make mine about 5 inches. So, and try and bias the opening to the top of the pocket so that your contents are secure. So I'm just going to come down a little bit here. I'm going to blend it in with this seam here. You want to go to the left of all the stitching now and make sure that both layers are one on top of the other. I'm just going to go down like an inch, like right to there, right? And then now I'm going to measure. There's probably notches on the pattern, but I like to make what I want. I'm going to measure it 5 inches, and I'm going to start there and then blend it in with the side seam below. Just like that. Okay, so let's do our other side. Oh. Yeah, I was thinking about making myself a larger pair of those because mine are a little too snug now, and I think it's a combination of me getting bigger and the denim getting a little smaller. You know what I mean? This time my seam allowance, I did get a little bit to the left of that seam. That's okay. Okay, this is where I have this little bit of funkiness going on. Lay flat, please. I'm definitely kind of finessing it. All right, let's see this side seam here. It's actually looking a little easier to be in the right space or place. But it just feels really weird. Like it feels, the seam thickness feels so uneven that it feels like it's gonna be off. Those gathers really push it around a little bit. All right, and let's same thing, do the pocket opening. Trim all these threads. Where'd that one go? All right, 5 inches. So if you're not sure you're getting straight with the bottom of the pocket opening to the top, the one thing that I console myself with is that 2 points make a straight line. So it'll actually kind of blend in better than you think because of that, you know, principle. I don't see my other thread, but I know it's there. There it is. Oh, that's another thread. That's from when I fixed something else. Let's get rid of that. The pink thread really blends in. All right, let's see how it looks. Mountain View, it's a stretch woven. Nancy. Oh, those are your Mountain Views, the polka dot pair. Those are really cute. All right, here we go. There we go, nice. Oh, that opening could be a little bigger. I'm not sure. I think it's 20% actually. 20%. All right, let's look at the directions really quick again. I'll share my screen with you guys. Oops, that's not what I want. So let's see if we can find the skirt easily enough. Right side to the other, put the side seams. Okay. Side skirt over bodice and line up hem of bodice with top of skirt. Hem of bodice. A 5/8 inch seam, huh? That's it? Huh. $43. Oh, cut 2. My bad. Well, no wonder. It has gotten a lot easier, Beverly. That Allegro stretch denim would be really good, but it's kind of lightweight. It's not that lightweight, but it's kind of lightweight. It's very stretchy though. Okay, I was supposed to cut 2 draw cords. Well, I would have probably been a little panicky knowing that because of my fabric. All right, let's check and see how our bodice is looking circumference-wise to the skirt. It better be spot on, right? And if it's not, you can just take in your seam allowance on one side seam a little bit. Truthfully, I would just gather it a little bit, like just put a few tucks in it because it's got a draw cord and that'll cover all that up. All right, so let me think about this. So if we have the draw cord, it has to be down here. See, this is, I added a 1/4 inch to this edge not knowing it already had 5/8. So if I did that and I still used the buttonhole placement, I don't know if that had 5/8 on it to begin with. So this is barely going to cover there. But what if I did it, I could do the top a little wider than the 5/8, you know? What, Barbara? Well, it's not in the cutting instructions. It's in the sewing instructions, I think. But I think there is a spot in the cutting, in the beginning where it's that. I just didn't notice the cut 2 part. I cut 1 at 43 inches. And then I just cut another section when I was over here and I made it 80. And that's about what it is, so. All right, so, because right there, that's 3/4 above that. So I'll have to check and see. So now if I want to clean finish this, what I could do is do a really narrow seam. You know what I think would be nice is if you took a piece of fabric and just laid it on here and stitched it down, you know? Like a piece of bias or something. I'm just thinking about it. So if I do this wrong sides together, make sure you do your front of your bodice to the front of your skirt, because remember you have your buttonholes in there. So if I did this, right, wrong sides together, and then we'll just do a little pretend seam here, and maybe I can make it even smaller than this. All right, and then, yeah, we don't want to do that. Okay, so what if we did it right sides together? I'm trying to get a wider casing. or just make sure that I'm going to actually make it. Because this, folding this down, like when I top stitch that, that's going to barely cover, that's not gonna cover that. That's not gonna cover the, look. That's the buttonhole. So what if I did this? You know? Doji, go away. Oh yeah, the side seam zip. Then you don't have to get it on and off. So let's see. Okay. If I did that, yeah, what if I did that like that? That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna put my bodice wrong sides together to my skirt. Front to front. Stick it in there like this. And I'm gonna line up the bodice. I'm gonna triple check that's the front. Okay, I'm gonna line up the bodice. Is that really not marked as the center? I'm gonna also mark the center right now, like this. And the back is already marked, great. The back of the skirt is marked, okay, great. So if I put this like right here, right? Do the bodice at a 1/4 inch seam. And then what I'll do is fold this up and then edge stitch it down like that. That's my plan. I need you. And then I kind of need a bit of a guide here. So about 1 1/4 inches. And we're gonna hope that the, it's gonna line up at that spot because it might not. The skirt might be bigger than the bodice at that point. The good news is your side seam of your skirt's gonna go forward and the side seam of the bodice is gonna go backward. So that'll reduce bulk right there, which is nice. Okay. I'm gonna look back on the pattern later because I must have I added a 1/4 inch seam allowance to the waist of the skirt and the bodice. And I still use the same buttonhole markings. All right, skirt, forward, bodice, backward. Sorry, you can't see very well there, huh? I'm just pinning, going around pinning my landmarks. Oh, thanks, Helen. It is a linen. I think it's a linen cotton. I don't think it's 100% linen, but it's called Hokkoh linen. I wrote it in the description. I didn't link it to one because I couldn't find it in stock anywhere. I found the yellow in stock places. Pretty sure. Or at least I saw pictures of it. I think Hokkoh is the brand name of it. It's not like a style or anything. All right. All right, so we're ready. You guys are like, we're taking a nap. All right, let's get you a little backed off there. Yeah, I think a zip would be great too. I know those polka dot Mountain Views, they're really, that fabric is so cute. So I'm lining up my bodice 1 1/4, the raw edge, 1 1/4 inches away from the other raw edge. They're parallel. I didn't do any mental math to know if this is going to change some length somewhere. I'm not too worried about it because I know it's a little blousey. And I'm just too like at that point in the sewing stream to be able to do that kind of mental math right now. Usually that kind of stuff, I love that. It's like I sit there and go, okay, well, if the overall length was this, and if I'm going to do this seam allowance, that's going to decrease it by 1/4 inch. I actually probably could figure it out, but, and then, you know, it's like, but if I'm only doing 1/4 inch on the bodice, but I'm doing a bigger one on the skirt. Because see, technically I'm only using 1/4 inch seam on the top, right? So that leaves 3/8 of an inch. And then I am doing a bigger one on the skirt. But we have some still left of the bodice. All right, and this is the front. So this is where we really want it to be nice and straight and accurate. Nice parallel edge. My center's not quite in the center. I'm trying to get it there right now. It's lined up at the side seams, I think. No problem. All right. Okay. Let's see what this means. Oh, Ray. I didn't know you're still here. I thought you were taking a nice little nap. Thank you. I like the random numbers lately. They're kind of cracking me up. It's like you're donating in a foreign currency and it's doing the conversion. All right, so now I'm gonna turn this down like 1/4 inch like this. And top stitch it down. So you might want to put your, what's it called? The draw cord in now if you don't want to thread it through the holes. But if you're a little worried about sewing around it, I understand. I'm getting my pincushion. Awake and eating lunch. It's 4:20. Oh yeah, I need some lunch too. I need a big ruler. I'm gonna put a big fat ruler behind it so I can pin against it. So I'm just gonna put this guy inside here. I kind of like the way this is gonna lay now. I wasn't too fond of it being pushed down onto the skirt, but that would work. I just didn't think it worked for my buttonholes. Maybe I'll just iron this flat and do a few pins. Turn it around my ruler. All right. See, it's times like this, I want music. I know you guys are like, no. But, and you know, I think I figured out a way on the Ask a Sew Question show to be able to turn up the collar volume for me and it won't echo for you guys. I'll just mute me. I think that's how, wait, is that what I thought? I think that's what would work. Yeah, I think that's it. If I mute me, it won't go through the microphone. There's something about this lime green next to the magenta that I really, really like. This little spot's giving me trouble. Good thing I know I have safety pins now too, because remember all those years I didn't? Oh man. What sewist doesn't have a safety pin handy, you know? Me. Okay. Let's get rid of some of these threads in here. Like this. Almost there. Last seam besides the hem. And then I gotta put the draw cord in. Just getting that ruler in the right spot. I'm trying to get this nice and parallel, the casing, but as long as you don't get it too far up, I think it's fine because it's going to be gathered up, you know? It's going to be all scrunched up. So it won't be a big deal. All right. I'm a little worried about the bottom of the edge. Just looking, that first seam is nice and flat. All right. Hi, Aisha. Wait, Aisha. Aisha. Like Kaiser. Aisha. Numbers are an homage to Nancy. You're having all your 420s. Okay. We'll put this inside out so we can sew it down without catching the dress. This, I'm going to start at a side seam. Doesn't really matter which one. I like the way this is. It's nice and flat, you know. What are you up to, Aisha? It's been kind of a, there's a lot of like involved details on this. They're not like hard, but each one's been taking me a bit, so. It's not the most enthralling sew along, I don't think. There's a lot of dress here. There we go. What time is it? Oh, it's already 2:30. Wow. So I haven't decided my streams for March. It's kind of funny with this new schedule. I feel like I have plenty of time to do that, but at the same time, this is, I think, my last stream for February. Pretty sure there's nothing else on the calendar. But if you're interested in the guild and you want more of me or sewing, especially sewing talk with no ads, you should check out the guild. I'm not sure it's on the screen right now. sosoguild.com. All these lovely people are in there, and they are really lovely and funny and inspiring. I love how honest it is. You know, it's like everyone has their like, oh gosh, you know, but we all have our ideas too. So this is what it looks like on the inside. So the casing is on the bodice up here, see that? And this is the waist seam. That was the first seam I sewed. All right, nice and clean finished, flat. I like that. Looks really cute. Can't use the loop turner for something like this though. Oh, wow. It does sound like a movie. Is it snowy there, or is it a good time to shop for houses right now? Or are you just looking at houses for fun? Okay. I just panicked because I couldn't find the buttonhole. That no ads is priceless. It really is. Oh, you did, Aisha? Oh, Aisha. Oh my God, it's so trouble. So much trouble for me. I'm trying. I'm determined. Like what kind of drama? And that storm Eunice, that's in Europe, right? Like I've been seeing some incredible footage of that. Oh, you've been looking since last summer. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think we found our house because our daughter, she should be called the Finder. She's amazing. She will like look, if she knows you're like looking for a house or a pet. Those are her really good wheelhouses. She will look and she gets it right. And Like she found my, well, she didn't find my parents' house. I think she did suggest it, but it didn't look like what my parents thought. And then our agent suggested it to my parents. And so then they went and looked at it and then they got it. And then now they're moving to a different house completely. But we got our house because Cricket just kept, I don't know why, she just likes looking for that. And I kept going, I don't want to move. Like, I don't really want to deal with this. I don't want to move unless I can have this or this. And she just kept looking and then she found it. I remember she's like, look at this house. It was like Easter. Yeah, you're not, oh, okay, good. That's good. You're not in a rush. I really feel for people looking for a house and it's tough. Like our house that we sold, people were contacting our agent before, because we were renting it out. And they were just like, we want to buy that house. And we were like, it's not for sale. But then we sold it because we just really felt for people, you know. Okay. I'm going to pull this through. So my casing is bigger than the one in the pattern. So I think that that's one drawback, but I don't know. That's what happened. Wow. Okay, so I'm trying to get my draw cord kind of evenly in there, you know? So that then I'm going to tack it down at the back. But it's really not the same right now. Look at this. Okay. I'm going to go like this. All right, and now I'm going to pull from this way. Ooh, that worked. Okay. And now I'm going to pull there. Let me find my center back, which is about right here. I guess if I get it horribly uneven, I could trim off one end. Okay. Here's the center. I need to pin it because I'm going to lose it when I go like this. Okay. So I'm just going to stitch through my casing there. I feel like that was the sewing fairy saying, no, 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 don't stitch it now. The tree's a brooded thing. Oof, that is. That can cause so much havoc, you know. I saw this funny video of a dog sitting on a rock and just sitting there. His lips were moving in the wind. It's like, oh my gosh, he's fine sitting there? It's a long draw cord. I don't really think this is that necessary to do. I just felt compelled to, you know. All right, should we see it on the dress form? Let me stop kicking my let's see it on the dress form. Look at how badly this fits on my, this is the Charlie Captain. I love this dress. I wear it a lot in the summer. You're gonna see it a lot on me if you've never been here before. But look at how it does, this is it, Beverly, right? Is this your issue? Everything just pools right here. And then, see, it's ripped really bad right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's a problem. So I'm thinking about putting that little panel in the back too, to cinch it in, because I'm going to get rid of the draw cord since they keep ripping off the dress in the laundry. Three people with tree, oh my gosh. No, that's terrible. Power load, no. Oh, gosh. A few years ago, there was a student sitting on a bench on campus, the university, and a tree branch broke on top of her. And she did not make it. And I just felt so terrible for that family. You know, she wasn't from here, so, you know, it was like they sent their baby off to college, and I don't know. My cover is super grabby, so I always have to fight it a little bit. Can you please lay down? Why isn't the placket? I noticed this on the table too. The placket wasn't like laying down. I don't know about these ruffles, you guys. Woo! Jeez. I'm almost falling off on camera. I really don't have much room right here to do this, so. I do like this fabric in this design. But the ruffles are kind of crazy. The ruffles may go. We'll see how they look on me. Here's the pockets. Let me see if I can raise it up so you can see the hem ruffle too. I'm not sure how far I can go. There we go. Let me cinch it a little more. I don't think I have it up at the waist. These kinds of draw cords are kind of grabby. I think the sleeve ruffles, I don't know about them, you know? They look pretty crazy. Have you guys ever done anything like little wings, exactly. Have you ever seen, or have you ever done this where you have a dress where you really want to stay down, you put weights on the bottom? Because I have done that, and it does work really good. You can just kind of get narrow magnets, and you just include them in the hem. The problem with it is that they can grab the inside of your washer and dryer, so you have to be careful. But you can weight things down to kind of make them hang nicer. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater, you know? Yeah, I'll wait to see it on me too, Ray, to assess. I think it looks really cute, though. The fabric's great for it. I don't like how the placket lays. I don't like that it's sitting like this, you know? And I think what that is that this right here, I want to pinch it like this, you know? So I could unstitch that and pull it down. Every time you grab your fridge, good point. Or the tub. Yeah. Ooh, can I push that? Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. I like it a lot. I think it's really cute. I think this would be a good contender for the instead of the Azers. Oh, really, Barbara? Yeah. Aisha, you could use non-magnetic metal. It's just that's something handy to find little pieces of metal. Yeah. Right. You're a magnet. All right, you guys, well, I'm going to head out. I have a Zoom in like an hour and 15 minutes, and I need to catch some lunch. So, yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. I know it was a long one. I know it was a lot of tedious details, but good stuff. Easy, not tedious, just, you know, time-consuming in a good way. So that's the 5 out of 4 Sophie dress with the sleeve ruffles, pockets, knee length, hem ruffle. I think I got it all. So thanks, guys. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I can't wait to try it on. You know, doesn't it? It kind of has a. You can't even see it, but like this is the Azers. Doesn't it? Don't you feel like it has the same vibe? Different sleeve. This has a yoke with the slit right here. This has the placket. So yeah, little different, same vibe. So yeah, I won't forget to hem it. Okay, Ray. Yeah, thanks. I think in rayon, it would be, the sleeves would be much more droopier too, the sleeve ruffles. So, thanks. Yeah. All right, you guys, well, have a good weekend. Hang out in there with the storm, Fiona. And I'll see you guys in the guild. I'll see you in a Zoom later. And I'll see you in March for a live stream. So, all right, you guys. Where's my thingy? There it is. Okay.